Hello you, it's Taking the Biz time again. This is the channel dedicated to A-level business students and their revision. And this video is going to examine the rather jaunty topic of business planning. So a business plan is essentially a document that entrepreneurs create or draw up at the onset of a new business venture. Now, if we start by having a look at some of the key sections of a business plan, sections that might typically be prepared by entrepreneurs as they're planning out a new business venture. The first of those is an outline or an overview of their business idea or concept, instructing what this new business venture is going to sell, what this new business venture is going to offer, who this new business venture is going to try and target. So the concept really provides an overview, sometimes known as an elevator pitch, of what is going to be involved in this new organization. Next, in a business plan, it's common to find some objectives that have been set for the first 12, 24, potentially 36 months of the organization. Those could be objectives to do with survival or achieving a certain market share, achieving a certain amount of growth or a certain profit level. But then we might also see in a business plan some more detailed evidence of the finances that will be associated with this new business venture. And in particular, what finance might be needed in order to fund this new business and where this finance might be obtained from. We might also see a section in a business plan overviewing the markets that the business will be competing in. Might be common to see some competitor analysis as part of this, maybe a breakdown of different market segments that are served by this market. We'll then see a forecasting section, which is one of the most crucial elements of a business plan. Now, this might have forecasts in to do with the profits that the business might have to achieve, or the costs that the business might be looking to spend. Might also include what's known as a cash flow forecast, which will plot out the liquidity of the business for its first formative months. Another section that's very common to see in a business plan is a breakdown of all of the resources that are going to be required for this business, and whether those resources are going to be secured permanently, or whether they're going to be leased or rented for the organization. And they'll go through all of the physical resources, all of the human resources, all of the financial resources that are going to be essential in getting this business off the ground. Now, business plans are generally perceived as being essential when you are starting a new organization. And there's some very distinct benefits to crafting a business plan before you start your organization. The first of those is it helps the owner of this new business, particularly if they're a first-time entrepreneur, to plot out exactly what their business idea is, to think very carefully about the stages they're going to have to work through in order to successfully start this new venture, to get them to really consider exactly what tasks will be a priority in order to establish this new organization. So one of the main benefits of business plans is that it serves as an aid to the entrepreneurs starting the organization in helping them to think about, from different kind of perspectives, what they will need to try and do in order to establish this business. In the process of doing that, it might highlight to the entrepreneurs difficulties or problems that they might face in the running of their new organization that they hadn't previously considered. And by thinking about problems, by identifying difficulties, it allows them to plot strategies to circumnavigate those difficulties, or solutions to those problems that they might envisage arising. But without the business planning process, those problems would have materialized but may have taken entrepreneurs by surprise, so that they would have had to react to them rather than them being able to plan how they will deal with those problems in advance. And of course, the classic benefit of the business planning process is that business plans are generally seen as a prerequisite when you're seeking investment from potential shareholders or partners in your organization, or when you are seeking borrowing from lenders such as banks and other financial institutions. Very few organizations would be willing to lend another business money without a clear framework or a plan of what that money is going to be used for, how it's going to be paid back, and why that finance is needed. Similarly, with investors, very few people are likely to invest their hard-earned capital into an organization purely based on a whim. They are likely to want to see more detailed coverage of what this business concept is that they're investing in, where this business sees itself going during the first few years, how this business is going to compete and sustain itself. So in order to secure borrowing and in order to entice investment, a business plan document can be a crucial stepping stone in finding potential investors and lenders for your organization. But there are some limitations to business planning as well, not least the opportunity cost that's involved. Many first-time entrepreneurs are very eager to get their new business venture underway. Often they have left a job in order to pursue this business, and they want to try and start earning revenue as quickly as possible. And the business planning process takes time. It takes research. And it might be that they might have to delay the starting of their business, maybe for a few weeks, for a more detailed business plan, maybe even for a couple of months. And there might be an earning gap for the entrepreneur in that time frame. So they might decide to bypass the business planning process and just launch straight into their new business venture. And rather than planning out their organization, they try and run it ad hoc and make decisions as they go. Now, it might be that they get away with that and they experience success regardless. But there is an opportunity cost to spending time planning rather than spending time earning. We've also got the idea that business plans' usefulness might just be hindered by the fact that entrepreneurs might not be able to foresee events that might unravel in the external environment. And particularly for first-time entrepreneurs that may not have run businesses before and may not have had experience of crafting a business plan before, there is a certain amount of uncertainty involved in creating a business plan. It's unlikely that first-time entrepreneurs will accurately be able to forecast events that might materialize in the economic environment, for example, or that they may not be able to accurately predict how competitors might respond to the start of their business, or how changes in technology might evolve, or how changes in society might take place once their business has started. And this uncertainty, this changing external environment, can mean that the business plan that entrepreneurs have produced becomes of limited value once the business is up and running, because they haven't been able to accurately forecast how the external environment might change and evolve once their business starts. And so this lack of experience that entrepreneurs might have in business planning is really the final limitation that we might want to highlight. Business plans will include a wealth of forecasts or predictions to do with profit, predictions to do with liquidity and cash flow, predictions to do with costs, as well as marketing predictions about what level of output the business might need to break even, what level of sales the business might be able to achieve in its first year, the degree of market share the business might be able to establish. And for first-time entrepreneurs, their inexperience is going to make it pretty difficult to accurately predict any of these forecasts with confidence. If you've never run a business before and you've never operated in this market before, how are you accurately going to forecast the market share that you might achieve? How are you going to know exactly how many units you will be able to sell in your first year? How are you going to be able to accurately forecast your costs so that you can accurately calculate your break-even level of output? And this lack of experience can limit the usefulness of business plans, making them full of less accurate data and forecasts that obviously impinges on how useful they turn out to be for entrepreneurs. But we shouldn't neglect the fact that business plans have some pretty tasty benefits. And if nothing else, it forces new entrepreneurs to sit down and carefully consider what their business concept is going to be and what tasks they need to perform in order to deploy their new business venture. Hopefully that video will help you revise that topic. As always, we will see you very soon. Good luck with your revision and keep on taking the biz.